evening and welcome. My name is Hayley. I am owner of May Weddings and Events, and today I'm talking about how you plan your wedding on a rainy day. You may or may not live somewhere where it does rain very often, but over here in Britain it rains a lot, especially if you live in Wales. I can say that because I'm from Wales. If you want to get married in the summer, it's never the plan that it will rain, but we're in Britain, so you have to expect the unexpected or the expected, right? And I've done a lot of weddings where people haven't planned for rain or sun, actually. So this session is about being prepared. So the first thing to think about when you're getting married, now, like I just touched on, always plan for rain. Just plan that there's a 100% chance that it's going to rain, because then you'll be prepared. A lot of couples who get married in the summer choose the summer date because they want it to be not necessarily hot, but a nice day, sunny. You envisage people sitting outside, enjoying the sunshine, having a Pimm's, whatever that may be. But the reality is, like I said, in Britain especially, it could rain at any time, all right? So you want to make sure that you're prepared. And the only way you can do that is by doing a lot of research or hiring a wedding planner who can make sure it's all done for you. The sort of things to think about. So when you're looking at a wedding venue, even if you are getting married in the peak of summer, think about that wedding day, that wedding venue, sorry, on a winter's day or a rainy day, and does it suit? So I know of a lot of venues that are perfect for summer weddings, not so perfect for winter weddings, and vice versa. But just imagine if you chose one of those venues for the beauty of it being a hot day and then it rained on the day and it didn't have the right facilities for you and your guests on a wet day. It would, excuse the pun, dampen the atmosphere, right? So just be prepared. Think about the indoor space that you've got available to you, and think about the photos that you're going to have. So if you did have to move inside because of the weather, are you going to be able to get, not all of the photos that you would want, but are you going to get a majority of the photos that you would want inside? Is there the space to accommodate your guests? Obviously, we're talking about normal wedding times at the moment, so hopefully you've got your full capacity there, the amount of guests that you want to come, which would be amazing. But just have a think about that, because like I said, you need to be prepared even if you are getting married in the summer. And I guess this works the other way around if you're getting married in what is typically a wet month and you've got a beautiful sunny day. Just make sure you've got all the right resources available to you. The other thing you want to think about is undercover areas. So again, regardless of whether you're getting married in the peak of summer, think worst case scenario, if it does rain, how are we going to cope with this? So are there any outdoor areas where there's an undercover area? Do you need to look into maybe hiring some sort of marquee / tent / cover area for your guests to stand under? Because, I mean, it might be warm and wet, but you still don't want your guests to be outside. So again, just think about that. Think about heat. So if you are getting married in a winter month, it might not be raining, but it might be cold. But if it is raining, then again, you want to incorporate the cover with heat. So have you got something to heat your guests up with? Not just blankets, but maybe outdoor heaters. So check with your venue if they've got those things available to you. There's nothing, I'm a cold person, but I love to be warm. So for me, being outside in the cold is like, no, thank you. It's like my worst nightmare. I'm the sort of person who has the heating on in the summer. Like, give me all the warmth. Love it. So, but just have a think about that for your guests that are coming, because you need to be able to cater for everybody. Yeah. Think about umbrellas. Clear umbrellas are better because they don't cast a shadow. So when you're having your photos done, they come out a lot better than the coloured style umbrellas that you can get, as beautiful as they look. There's no harm in having them for the aesthetic side of your pictures and that sort of thing. But I would say clear umbrellas would be best. Maybe Kate, if Kate's still on, she might be able to help us with that. She's a photographer, so she might be able to help us determine which umbrellas are best. The next thing to think about is your suppliers. So you want to be asking all of your suppliers what their contingency plan is should it rain on the day. So for example, let's just take fireworks, for example. If it's really heavy rain, are they still going to be able to set the fireworks off? If they can't, what's the outcome? Do you get a refund? Do you get a partial refund? Think about the sort of things that could go wrong, and as much as you don't want to do that, but you have to, because you're spending a lot of money on your wedding day, right? So you have to think of all the things that can go wrong. And whilst that sounds really negative, it's not, it's just practical. You don't want to be dealing with these things on the day, especially if you don't have a wedding planner, because you want to know where you stand from the start, right? Same as insurance, okay? You buy insurance because you need to know that you're covered if you need to be. But think about that with your suppliers. Make sure you read the contracts that they give you. Is there any contingency plan in there for weather, for example? So if you've bought something that would ordinarily go outside, let's just say you've bought an outdoor DJ, for example, or an outdoor bar, and if the weather is rubbish and they say to you, we can't set this up because of the weather, what's the backup plan? Have a plan B ready to go, so that if that worst case scenario does happen, then you've got something else to fall back on. The next thing, which I just touched on, was insurance. Make sure you've got insurance. Now, there's always the act of God clause. So if he kicks up a fuss, then the insurance company decide, no, that was an act of God, we won't cover it. So make sure you check your insurance policy for things like that. So if the weather does prevent you from having your wedding day for whatever reason, be that rain, thunderstorms, floods, anything like that, make sure you check what it covers for you, because worst case scenario with the weather, if it's that bad that it stops you from having your wedding day, it is likely that everybody will move to another day. So a wedding that I did previously nearly didn't go ahead because of really bad snow. The groom was stuck with the photographer on the A12, and they couldn't get there. The registrars couldn't get there. The cake hadn't got there. There was quite a lot of the guests still couldn't get there because they were coming up from London. And it nearly didn't go ahead. I think it went ahead 3 hours late or something like that. So it did happen. But the main reason the bride was panicking is because she didn't have insurance, and all of a sudden all of these scenarios start playing in her head, or his head, depending on the situation. So just make sure you've got yourself covered. It's the most important thing that you can do. Have insurance. And again, I'm talking sort of normal life here. I know insurance companies are being a pain in the backside at the moment. Nobody's paying out because of situations right now. But I like to talk post-COVID. I'm sick of talking about COVID. So I'm talking about when things go back to normal and everything's lovely and beautiful and happy, and we've got 500 million people at our wedding day. Yeah. Okay. Positive thoughts. The other thing to do is think outside of the box. So what can you do to prepare for a bad wedding day? I'll get there in the end. Okay, picture this. You are getting married and the weather is atrocious and it's windy and everyone's hair's all over the place and they spent 3 hours getting ready and nobody looks very happy. Nobody wants their picture taken. Think about maybe having a hairdresser on site that can just do little touch-ups for people, that can just make people feel a bit more comfortable and just have that little bit of TLC, a little bit of pampering on the day. If you can't afford to have a hairdresser there all day, then maybe just have some resources in the bathroom for them to help themselves to. Things like hairspray, brushes, bobby pins, hair straighteners. Just check with your venue that you're allowed to bring in your own electric tools. Believe it or not, there are some rules that you can't do that unless they've been pack tested. Again, that's a whole new live, but just check those sort of things. Think about a clean pair of shoes, or a dry pair of shoes at least, because if it is raining, then you are going to want to probably change your shoes if you are stuck outside. Think about grabbing some wellies. If you're going to have some fun with it, then brilliant, you know, embrace the wellies. And think about your dress. So maybe you want to book in your dry cleaning for your dress. So most brides don't get their dress cleaned. They stick it up in the attic and it's got all of the dirt and the stains all over it, and then it seeps in and they can't get it out, and then it's ruined. So have a think about that. Book it in before you get married, so it's there, it's an appointment in your diary, you've got to take it, and then that's all sorted. And the final thing, which I just touched on, is have fun and embrace it. Like, enjoy yourselves. If it does rain and you weren't planning on it raining, some people like rain on their wedding days, and in some countries it's meant to be good luck. So, but have fun with it, embrace it. You can get the most beautiful pictures from a rainy day, especially if you've got, like I said, the resources to help you. And your photographer should be prepared and have all the things ready for you anyway. But if you've got those clear umbrellas, that just makes it look absolutely amazing. Lots of love as always. Stay safe, healthy and happy. Bye.